Is the cycle frontier dying? It's a topic that's been talked about a lot lately, and a lot of content creators have been making videos about it. It's been the discussion in the Discord, so that's why I decided to make a video about it and go into it a little bit more. Let's dive in. Alright, so today we're just going to have some gameplay footage playing in the background while we talk about this topic. If you want the short answer to the question whether or not the cycle frontier is dying, well, here it is. No, it is not. However, pretending like the game doesn't have some issues going on would be like pretending pineapple, or even worse, banana, belongs on pizza. If you're with me on this, hit the subscribe button down below and like the video, because we need to band together against this insanity. And well, if you're not with me on this topic, just hit the sub button down below so you can, come tell me about banana and pineapple on pizza in all of my other videos coming up. Now, okay, the game definitely has some issues going on right now. I just don't think that the game's going to die because of them. And the reason I believe that is because this game has an amazingly strong base to build on. First of all, the game bridges a huge gap in the genre of extraction shooters, and that is the gap where people want to play an extraction looter shooter with a fun, basic gameplay loop where gunfights are impactful and tactical, but where they're still, to a certain extent, casual. The most used comparison to the cycle is Escape from Tarkov, and the percentage of people who get to the max traders in there is very low, not even mentioning the people who get to Kappa, as the game is very hardcore, has a high learning curve, and is challenging to master. Bob the average gamer works a full-time job, comes home from his job, has dinner with his wife and kids, tucks the kids in bed, and then sits down to play a couple of games. And in those games, he does not want to spend that time watching YouTube videos to learn a bunch of stuff about a game. He just wants to dive in, shoot some people, get their loot, and get out of there. Bob will probably be the guy that only starts building his quarters a couple weeks into the wipe, but Bob is okay with that, aren't you, Bob? Yeah, buddy! Second of all, considering that the Cycle Frontier is a free-to-play game, I think this game runs extremely well, is very well optimized, which allows a very broad audience of people to play it. You do not need a high-end rig to make the cycle look crisp and beautiful and run with a decent amount of frames, and if you do have a strong rig, you get all of the frames on top of making the game look absolutely stunning. Third of all, having such a solid gameplay loop running in a well-optimized game allows for so many options to add things in the future. Just think about more maps, more endgame mechanics in the style of the dungeon and the drills that we currently have, but also mid-game things like more campaign missions as the map pool expands. There's endless possibilities to keep adding new guns into the game and even new systems. For example, I was talking with some people a couple of days ago and somebody came up with a really good idea, a really interesting idea for armor. Right now, it kind of sucks to either use tactical or restoration armor because you lose much needed points of armor. However, the restoration function and the tactical function can also be very useful. What about just making a base armor and then being able to make mods or find mods or craft mods or whatever that allow you to put the tactical or the restoration thing on an armor piece, but you just need to craft the mod, which will make it all cost more, but it's a choice that you have. Or what about adding an entire new faction to the game with a bunch of new guns, perhaps based in a new map somehow? I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. All I'm saying is, there is a very strong foundation already available, and there is just so much more that Jaeger will be able to do with the game in the future. They have already said in the past that they'll be adding new content with every season, and since they'll be having a new season every 3 months, that is 4 additions of new content per year. That's a lot. There's games that don't get that much. So then why is everybody talking about the game dying? Well, there's a couple of obvious reasons for that. First of all, and let's just get this topic out of the way, when the game originally came out, it received a lot of attention with a lot of big names streaming the game on Twitch. And of course, there was also the Drops campaign drawing in tons of people into the game. And what happens in this day and age when a game gets this much attention, becomes this popular, and that gets this big of a player base, the tiny PP men come out of their cave and start doing their tiny PP thing, aka they start cheating. As is customary in the current climate of online games, especially when it comes to a free-to-play game, when cheating becomes apparent, an avalanche starts to happen. People get disgruntled, content creators start making videos and content about it, drawing more attention to the cheating issue, and this will do two things. First of all, it will turn new players off of the game without ever having tried it, because they're like, well, if there's cheaters in there, I'm not even gonna bother. They may not even be the players that would be affected by the cheaters. Like personally, me, I've been playing the cycle very casually. I took over a month to finish the entire battle pass. I have not been doing extreme endgame. I've been playing solo most of the time, and my MMR is like probably somewhere around the average, I would think. And to be fair, personally, I have not seen that many cheaters. I have seen many friends and many high-ranked players who see a lot of cheaters, so I'm not denying the problem here. I'm just saying the lower in MMR you are, the less likely the hacking is going to be an issue for you. And then of course there is the big killer right now in games like this, which is the fact that cheating is a way of making money through real money trading. The moment anyone figures out how to effectively combat real money trading in games like this, for example, Escape from Tarkov, The Cycle, other games like it, is the moment that the largest part of this hacker problem will probably solve itself. Of course, there's still going to be a couple of tiny PP kids who just want to be elite hackers, but they'll grow tired of the game quickly enough and move back to Call of Duty. But if anyone finds a way to effectively stop RMTing, the largest part of the cheaters will be gone, as they will just be moving on to the next game where they'll be able to make money. There's been plenty of coverage on this on other channels and other people making videos about it, where hackers explain that they are living in poor countries and they are making more money cheating in an online video game than they would working a normal job in their country. And frankly, while it sucks for us, the recreational gamer, can you really blame them for trying to put food on the table? That's a rhetorical question. You don't need to answer that in the comments down below. Just tell me how amazing my beard looks, okay? And now, let's be honest, Jaeger is putting in a lot of work trying to combat these cheaters. They've got multiple systems of detection issuing auto bans, they have an anti-cheat team, and they have almost around-the-clock support on their Discord. I believe they will eventually fix the problem, but for them to be able to do that, we need to remember that we need to provide them with the data to be able to create the fix, and the only thing we can do that is by playing the game. If we don't play the game, they don't have the data, they can't fix things. And then the second reason why people are saying that the game is dying is because of the Twitch viewership, and the active player base on Steam has been trending downward since the start of Season 1. But guess what? That's going to happen no matter what in every seasonal game. Look at Tarkov's viewership and player base at the start of a wipe versus 3 to 4 months later. Look at Path of Exile 1 month after a league start. Look at World of Warcraft when the new patch hits, etc, etc, etc. The difference here is that each of these games has been there for the longest time already, and they have built up their fan base over the year. The cycle hasn't even been around for 2 months, so what I think we need to do is we need to give it some more time to mature, to grow, to be developed further, and I think within X amount of time, this game will be a staple in the genre, and I'll be clipping this bit out of this video to give it back to you guys in another video in X amount of time saying, I fucking told you so. So yeah, is the Cycle Frontier dying? No, I definitely think it's not dying. It's a very strong base game, and I very much am looking forward to what this game has got to offer in the future, and I still think it's going to be an amazing game given some more development. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye bye.